जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की, श्री श्री राधा गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की, गंगा माई की, जमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी की, तुलसी महारानी की, गोलोक प्रेम नरनाम संकीर्तन की, गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled deities, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled deities, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled deities, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. अभी नरसिम्हा आरती होगा, कृपया करके नीचे बैठ जाइए। नमस्ते नरसिंहाय, नमस्ते नरसिंहाय, प्रहलाद लाददायिने प्रहलाद लाददायिने प्रहलाद, हिरण्यकाशिकुर्वक्षः, हिरण्यकाशिकुर्वक्षः, शीलटङ्का नखलये शीलटङ्का नखलये, इतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा, इतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा, इतो नरसिंहा, इतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा, यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहा, यतो यतो हे यतो यतो यामि ततो नरसिंहा, यतो यतो महे नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा, महे नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा, महे नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा, नरसिंहमदि शरणं प्रपदे, नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपदे, तव कर कमलवरे नखा अद्भुत श्रृंगार, दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु कानुभृंगा, केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे, तव कर कमलवरे नाथा, दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु कानुभृंगा, जय केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे, जय केशव नर, जय जगदीश हरे, जय नरसिंहदेव, 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 जय नरसिंहदेव, जय नरसिंहदेव, जय प्रहलाद महाराज, प्रहलाद महाराज, प्रहलाद महाराज, जय प्रहलाद महाराज, जय प्रहलाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 जय निताई गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, निताई गौर। सर्वभक्ति विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की, शरणाम संकीर्तन की। अभी यहाँ पर भगवद गीता पे प्रवचन होगा अंग्रेजी में। नाउ देयर विल बी द क्लास इन द टेम्पल हॉल इन ऑन भगवद गीता इन इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज, सो whoever wants to sit for the class, they can keep quiet and sit ahead. Hare Krishna.
राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन जमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, जमुना तीरा वनचारी, यमुना तीरा वनचारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं, श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे, निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते, गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी, वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च, पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। अनर्पितचरीं चिरात् करुणयावतीर्णकलौ समर्पयितुमुन्नतोज्ज्वलरसां स्वभक्तिश्रियं हरिः पुरटसुन्दरद्युतिकदम्बसन्दीपितः सदा हृदयकन्दरे स्फुरतु वः शचीनन्दनः हन्तायमद्रिरबला हरिदासवर्यो यद्रामकृष्णचरणस्पर्शप्रमोदः मानं तनोति सह गोगणयोस्तयोर्यत् पानीयसूयवसकन्दरकन्दमूलैः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Sunday Bhagavad Gita class. We are in the third chapter and very interesting juncture, might be relatable to our daily lives. This is the verse number 27 and you can try to follow after me. It's not very hard Sanskrit. प्रकृतेः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहंकार विमूढात्मा कर्ताहमिति मन्यते word to word. Prakritehe of material nature, kriyamanani being done, gunaihi by the modes, karmani activities, sarvashah all kinds of, ahankara vimudha bewildered by false ego, atma the spirit soul, karta doer, aham I, iti thus, manyate he thinks. Now the entire translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The spirit soul, Atma, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by three modes of material nature. Now purport by Srila Prabhupada, two persons, one in Krishna consciousness and other in material consciousness, working on the same level may appear to be working on the same platform, but there is a wide gulf of difference in their respective positions. The person in material consciousness is convinced by false ego that he is the doer of everything. He does not know that the mechanism of the body is produced by material nature, which works under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. The materialistic person has no knowledge that ultimately he is under the control of Krishna. The person in false ego takes all credit for doing everything independently, and that is the symptom of his nescience, which means ignorance. He does not know that this gross and subtle body is the creation of material nature under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as such, his bodily and mental activities, both, should be engaged in the service of Krishna, in Krishna consciousness. The ignorant man forgets that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Rishikesh, or the master of the senses of the material body. For due to his long misuse of the senses in sense gratification, he is factually bewildered by the false ego, which makes him forget his eternal relationship with Krishna. So as I was saying, we are in a very interesting juncture in Bhagavad Gita. Because what Krishna will be speaking in these verses directly concerns all of us. And Krishna will try to make spirituality concern what we do all the time daily, which is W-O-R-K, work. We all work, isn't it? Now, work doesn't mean something which is only salaried or something where you are in a particular service on a salary role. No. In fact, a person in a company may be just snoozing lazily, while a homemaker at home could be busily working, isn't it? That can happen. Work means basically engaging whatever we have been endowed with by Krishna. Our Jnanendriya, through which we take knowledge, our eyes, ears, nose, and our Karmendriya, like our hands. Those can be engaged in making dal bati at home. Work can be salaried or not, but it is work, and everybody is doing that. In fact, that's what Krishna is telling right in the middle of this chapter. If some of you would have attended these sessions before, that Najatu, nobody can sit without working. If you are not working, something else is working. What's that? Our mind. So, if that's the thing we all are doing and spirituality gets linked to it, it's nice, isn't it? We don't have to go somewhere to achieve the perfection of life. And that's the beauty of Sanatana Dharma, isn't it? For some other religions and maybe traditions, they will talk about we have to go there to achieve somebody. But wait a minute, that's not for the Sanatana Dharma, because where Krishna is not there, he's there everywhere, isn't it? And this is a unique point which Sanatana Dharma explains, and you can note it down. Krishna is called Abhinna Nimittopadan Karana. What? Abhinna Nimittopadan Karana. Karana means cause. Upadan means Hindi mein masala. Sabji wala nahi. When you would have sit and overseen the construction of homes, what the masons tell? Masala aaya kya? The cement and the things which make the home. So upadan means the masala of the world. The masala which makes us, isn't it? The blood and the tissues and the bones and what not. And Krishna is a nimitta also. Nimitta means he is the one who makes it. Nimit and upadan. He is the mason and the masala both. Which means everything around which we see has an ansh of Krishna. So we don't have to go anywhere. Of course, we come to temple because the potency is surcharged here. But when we come to the temple and go outside, we have to carry the consciousness that Krishna will be found there too. Isn't it? Isn't that a beauty thing? So here, in these sections, Krishna is telling, well, you all work, but don't just work unaware, absent-mindedly. But work in an awareness that you can link it with Krishna. So then it does not remain only work or karma, it becomes karma yoga. Karma yoga means we can attach karma principle, the work principle, and achieve perfection. Isn't that beautiful? Because everybody is doing karma, work, somehow or the other. Furthermore, Krishna tells that in these chapters, only in the 3rd chapter, that just not do any ordinary karma yoga. Karma Yoga means we are understanding that the entire cosmos is arranged by Krishna, in which different people are doing their different duties. Devatas are doing, Manavas are doing. It's a cosmic cycle. We offer our work and then we get the fruits. But we do it in a very honest way, in a grateful way, without breaking the laws. That's nice. But Krishna is telling, move beyond and do Nishkam Karma Yoga, which means just don't do work for the fruits. Now here fruits doesn't mean apple, oranges, mango and grapes. What does it mean? The green notes. Well, in US, here we have multicolored notes. And fame and prestige, resources, those are the fruits. So Krishna is telling, don't do it for that. Hearing this, we may revolt and saying that, what do you mean? We go and work and the salary is given and we say, no, keep it with you, bless you. Not really. To work itself, we have to maintain the body, maintain our homes. So, take the fruits which are coming as a result of your work, but don't hoard it. Do detachedly, in a sense of detachment. Utilize it, but then give it away also. Give it away as contribution. This culture of giving, therefore, is utterly important. If we read Ramayana, Mahabharata and things like that, all these itihasas, Puranas, there kings will gain the resources, but they would give away with many hands. Yudhishthir Maharaj got all the wealth and he gave away everything. And the Brahmanas said that, Bhai, we need only little bit. You take away the rest. This is the culture of giving. But it all begins with the initial sankalpa that I am not doing it just for the sake of fruits. And Krishna calls it Nishkam Karma Yoga. What does he call it? Nishkam Karma Yoga. Yoga to karma, then it becomes special. We are linking it to Supreme, and then Nishkam Karma Yoga. What does it do? I think all of us would have an experience that if we do work, not just waiting for the fruits, but for the sake of the work, something happens, we feel little good about it. If we do work in a detached manner, and it's a dharmic work, we are not slashing the throat of somebody, then something happens in the heart. We call it purification. What is the meaning of purification? Anybody has observed it? Sometimes students who are studying and just get absorbed in the material, and results we'll see later on, but they are doing nice studies, they feel a sense of upliftment. Any students who can attest to that? Maybe workers also. What happens? Purification. What is purification? In general, we are highly invested in the world. Highly invested. इसने ऐसा क्यों किया, उसने ऐसा क्यों किया, why did he do that, why did she do that, why should I have done that way? And the loop goes on and on and on. This is investment. To yank us out of this investment in the world, to pull us out of these tentacles which we have put in the world, sticky tentacles, working through Nishkam Karma Yoga is fantastic. Because we forget all our investments. And it lifts us up. That's called purification. And then we give away also. Whatever is coming to us, we keep little bit for ourselves, whatever helps us, whatever our requirements are, but then we give away for the betterment of the people. Don't you think this will reduce further investment in the material world? How much we are invested into the rag and dvesh. Rag means attachment, dvesh means aversion. One of the saint was going in a travel journey, and to his great misfortune, a seasoned businessman came along with him. After the journey, the saint said, "Baap re, so much attachment aversion. This fellow was on the phone throughout the journey. He was screaming at somebody, he was appeasing somebody." Sometimes it happens in our life, right? Shane tushta, shane rushta. In a moment we are happy, in a moment we are sad. Does it happen? Shane tushta, in a moment satisfied, as though the entire planet is looking at us. Oh, you fortunate soul. And shane rushta. Baat mat karo, don't talk to me. Does it happen, or is it only me? No, it looks like sages are sitting here. Aversion, attachment. But when the purification happens, there is a sthiti of sama. And when it increases, then the situations of the world stop bothering a lot. Earlier, 6 days out of 7 days in a week, we were shane rushta, shane tushta. After a while, maybe one day. That's good progress, right? But now Krishna adds another dimension in this chapter. And these are the verses around 16, 17. And he says, even though somebody gets highly purified, highly aloof from this shane tushta, shane rushta, still he performs work. And we may stroke our chins saying that, why? What's the need? He's already gotten purified, isn't it? So what's the need to work? Krishna says, please understand, you're not the only one in the civilization. Everybody is watching you. All of us are leaders in our own respects, isn't it? Maybe leaders in a small community, maybe leaders in a big community. And this influence is called mandala. Some of us has a mandala of 100,000, some of us 100, some of us 2, 3, 4. Nonetheless, it is there. And they are watching us. Most of the time, people watch and grab a particular thing instead of getting taught. They catch the thing. Isn't it? In the society, you ask people, why are you vegetarian? Oh, that actor is vegetarian. What's the reason for your hairstyle? That actor or actress has that hairstyle. It happens often. Jai Jai Shri Radha Gopinath Ji, Lalita Vishakha Devi ki Jai, Shri Shri Gopal Ji ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. So most of the time, we catch things. We catch ideas without even knowing what the idea was really. So Krishna is telling, people are watching you. You're not alone. So act at least for the benefit of those who will not do all the research and figure out things. They will just watch you. Doesn't it happen in our family? Is it good to scream at the kids and say, don't be angry? Will they learn to be not angry? But they'll be angry because they are watching us. In fact, we are giving a sermon and not following it. So Krishna is telling, look at Janak Maharaj. Who is Janak Maharaj? Giving example of Siya Mata's father. He is perfected, but still he was doing all the duties. And Krishna is saying, look at me. I am the Abhinna Nimitta Upadan Karan. I am the mason making everything, you, the world, everything, and I am the masala also. Which means Krishna made this microphone, and the material itself is an energy of Krishna. Isn't that amazing? Therefore, where Krishna is not there. Now, practically we have to walk on our feet. What to do? It would be tough to walk somersaulting, on our hands. But still, the elders teach us, don't just kick things which are lying with your feet. We walk, what to do, we have to. But then they tell us, just don't behave with a bucket or anything with your feet. Why? Because the sense that Krishna is there. Does it make sense? Krishna is there. So it is little disrespectful. If Krishna was not there, then let's throw around our weight using our legs, feet. But then, because Krishna is both the mason and the masala, he is the material too. And Bhagavatam explains, he is present in Kan Kan mein Vidyaman hai. Hence, Krishna is telling, I really do not have to do anything. I'm everywhere. Still I do. Still I perform the dharma. We see that in Bhagavatam. In Dwarka, he gets up and does all the rituals, and he sits in the assembly, and then he plays with his kids and entertains his wives also, and everything impeccably done, and yet he's unattached. Wonderful example. So Krishna is telling, even though when we become purified, we have to act. And this is where the verse of the last week and today's verse come into picture. Why Krishna is telling that? Please act, because people will be watching you, instead of telling them what to do. Act properly instead of trying to shove the philosophy, like ask a person, grab the person's throat and put the philosophy into the head or mouth. Doesn't work, right? A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. A man convinced or a woman convinced against his will be of the same opinion still. What's the saying in Hindi? Lato ke bhoot, baaton se, laton se bhi nahi mante. It's difficult. Hence, the last verse comes. In the last verse 26, Krishna is saying that na buddhi bhedam janayet. Everybody is on different levels. You do your part impeccably well and see the magic around. Ajnanam karma sanginam. People are involved in various things, various activities. They have seen that world is changing and people are dying around, but yet people will think that they will be the exception. How many people have to die for us to leave that thought that we will be an exception? Still, how many lectures can convince people that you will not be an exception? Isn't it? So here Krishna is saying, na buddhi bhedam jane. Don't agitate people. Don't jerk them off from where they are. Everybody is at different level. And Krishna tells them, joshayet sarva karmani. Just engage them where they are. And that's what Srila Prabhupada's genius is there in Krishna consciousness as well. If somebody is coming from a background of a rock and roll dancing, well, the floor is there. You can dance with abandon, isn't it? You don't have to catch them and say, no, shant, meditate. Not needed. You can find emancipation, you can find your perfection in dancing for Krishna, isn't it? Joshayet sarva karmani. Engage people according to their level. Now the question arises, why? Why different people are at their different level? And that's where the verse comes today, the verse of today. Karmani, which means works, which we see different works people are doing generally. Some may be doing office work, some may be doing cleaning work, some may be doing sitting in the space station. They are doing the work there. Here, we think, oh, 24 hours, get up, and then sunrise, then sunset, done. There, if you are circling 250 miles above the surface of the earth, 16 times in a day, sun rises and sun sets. So what's your day? So they work according to coordinated universal time. Because otherwise their body will also not behave properly, isn't it? But look at their lives. They have to see sunrise and sunset 16 times. They are also doing their work. The animals are also busy doing their work. Now we come from Vrindavan. You can't catch a monkey by ears and tell, kitni bar you have taken a spectacle, tried to chew it, you didn't get a juice out of it. Why don't you stop doing it? Do you think he'll understand? No. And here is what this verse is telling. Karmani, the works, are kriyamanani, which means they are not actually being done. Somebody is making the person do it, almost like a puppet. Karmani kriyamanani, कराए हुए हैं, काम हो नहीं रहे हैं, कोई कर नहीं रहा है, as though somebody is making you do. Who is making you do? Prakritehe, of nature. What of nature? Gunaihi, the modes of material nature. The modes of material nature, if you have seen this Bhagavad Gita, it is depicted like a person is a puppet. And there are these three ropes. Ropes of goodness, sattva, ropes of passion, rajas, ropes of ignorance or tamas. And let's face it, all of us feel it so. Daily also, get up in the morning. If you haven't slept overly thinking about a particular matter, then you might get up in the morning and have well rested, and you might get up in the morning little bit blank sheet. But as the day kicks in, this goodness of the morning becomes, just with the honkings only, the passion starts. Even the places, you go to places which are near the rivers, and if people have not commercialized it, then you will feel a certain sense of peace. But you've come to a busy city, suddenly we start feeling, let's do something. The passion comes. And then ignorance, bewilderment, confusion, we all go through it. What Krishna is telling, in general, people may be doing different things, but actually, they are being played upon by the modes of nature. Helplessly, they are doing something which just the modes of nature are making them do. Very clearly seen in the case of addictions, isn't it? Now one may say, so that means everything is programmed, we don't have our free will? No. There is a dynamic tension between the free will and the control of the modes. The more is the control of the modes, the free will is stifled. Free will is like this teeny tiny thing. In fact, person may end up using free will to degrade himself or herself. He may go from mode of goodness to mode of passion and ignorance. Then there is no use of free will, isn't it? We have been born in a particular situation, in a particular family, in a particular surroundings. That has given us such modalities, right? Maybe we are coming from a background in which there are tensions in the family, financial struggles, Or maybe we are living in a background where there is too much agitation in certain localities, whatever. We can't change it. But still, we have the free will. And if we do utkat karma, using that free will, then we can move the ladder of the modes from ignorance to passion and goodness. And ultimately, with Krishna consciousness, we can break open the control of the modes. In this verse, Krishna is explaining why, therefore, you should act, and instead of catch the person from the throat and tell, you should be doing that, Are kuch nahi hoga. This is such a golden lesson in relationship management. Now, we do not want to get cheated and abused and taken for a ride. But then we can do only so much. A person comes to you, just blasts his life and lungs on you, and you are clueless. The person goes away, and now we are clueless about our life. We are sulking, kyun kaha, kaise kaha, all existential questions. And then we notice that fellow is eating chaat pakodi at the Govinda snacks. So the person came, blasted on us. He is not affected. He goes and enjoys chaat pakodi, and we are affected. So where the fault lies? We didn't understand. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha. Sometimes people won't change. So this is good relationship management in which we can understand, which modes the other is operating in and what are my dominant modes also. It will just not make us fret too much in life, isn't it? Now this is the first part of the verse. Prakritehe kriyamanani gunaihi karmani sarvashaha. That everybody is pretty much acting as per their moods. Now the question which further arises is that you said Janak Maharaj and other people who are totally purified in heart, they are still acting. And other people who may not be purified, who are like puppets, they too are acting. What's the difference between them? Externally, both seem to be the same. The second part of this verse answers the question. Is it making sense? Second part says, that person who is acted upon by these modes and is almost like a puppet, thinks completely different. What does he think or she thinks? Manyate, he thinks, iti, what? Aham, karta. I am doing all this. And why does he do so? Ahankara vimudhatma. He is vimudha. Mudha means foolish. Vimudha means foolish to a superlative degree. Highly foolish. By ahankar, ego, isn't it? Scriptures mention this small anecdote which many of you would have heard. It's like a parable to show this understanding. How a cart is moving and a dog is walking under the cart. And the dog is being asked, where are you going? Just calm down, maybe have some food. No, what are you talking about? I'm carrying the cart over me. The dog is not carrying the cart. He's not even touching the cart. The cart is going on its own, but the dog is thinking that I'm carrying it. Ahankara vimudhatma. If you think in a common sense manner also, are we really the cause of whatever we accomplish? Not really, right? So many factors. If students top a particular exam, I think it will be foolhardy, it will be very egoistic on their part to say that I did it. Well, where did the parents go? They provided all the food and nice, comfortable study room and warding off all the pesky relatives so that the poor fellow can study. And the poor fellow becomes a rich fellow and thinks that I did it. Common sensically also it does not make sense. So many factors had to be right. There are folks who studied well and then slept away in the examination. That's also a factor. You should not sleep. So even in a common sense manner, there are many, many things to go right for a certain event to reach its final state. And now we understand even that person who is acting is being acted upon by sattva, rajas and tamas. Still he or she is thinking that kartaham iti manyate. But that's not what a devotee thinks. See, is devotee free from all the modes? No, it's a work in progress. All of you are coming to the temple and witnessing the different events, attending different programs, and trying to read several scriptures, so it's all a work in progress. But devotee understands that this is a big issue. Kartaham iti manyate. I am really not doing anything. In fact, even in devotional life, it will be quite detrimental to think that, well, I did it. I am chanting. Well, who gave the beads? And maybe there is a mercy of some devotee, Krishna, mercy of Krishna falling through the devotee, which is giving us spiritual strength. That's very important. It's called a yoga bal. What it's called? Yoga bal. See, there are modes, and the modes are so consuming that our free will is stifled. Okay, somehow the free will becomes good, strong, but we move in these modes only. Goodness, passion, ignorance. Maybe we find that our health is not good, so we'll start doing some exercise and become regimented in our life. At best, what happened? Passion, ignorance to goodness. But then to transcend these modes and understand the workings of the universe and link ourselves to Krishna, a special power is required. What's that? Yoga bal. Who is giving the yoga bal? Am I generating it inside through some chemical process? Not really. Actually, yoga bal hops from one devotee to another. Association. Almost like the attachment to addictions also hops from one person to another. You associate with those who are attached to a particular addiction. Very easily it is possible to pick that up. Similarly, in association, when we are with those who are acting or moving up the modes of material nature, because they have the yoga bal, the spiritual strength, they can instill and install that spiritual strength in us. So, as we are moving in this path, won't it be then foolish to think that I am doing it? No. In fact, that is something which Krishna will really not like. Saints tell that suppose if I'm making a garland, and then I'm filled with pride that, oh, I made that beautiful garland. The saints tell her that Krishna will think that garland to be a snake. Put it off me. Because Krishna is Bhavgrahi Janardhan, he is very expert in grasping the essence. What material thing can we give to Krishna? Can we? No. How did we begin our discussion today? Krishna is both the mason and the, at least that you will get out of this lecture, mason and masala. He builds the world, and he is also the material with which the creation is built. So what can we give it to him? It's like Ganges river. We go, not even Ganges, any sacred pond we go, what do we do as an offering to the pond? Pick the water of the pond and offer it. Big deal? No big deal. But if we have the devotion, oh, it's a big deal. Same with Krishna. He has provided devotee association, he has provided the Shastras, he himself has come as a deity form. And now, humbly, we can present ourselves and do our part. And then the magic starts happening. The yoga bal increases. The spiritual strength, the level of that spiritual strength increases in our heart. This is what Krishna is teaching in the verse today. Prakritehe kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. First thing, he tells us, don't try to jerk people out of whichever situation they are. Best act impeccably. Then magic they will already see, isn't it? Look at the example of a founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada. 70 years of age, he goes, crosses the ocean, suffers 2 heart attack. There he goes in New York, living amidst the people of that time. Not so good for a person coming from a cultured background who was staying in Vrindavan. But people saw this personality is toiling harder than all of us. He is cooking a multi-course meal, frying gulab jamuns, which were called the ISKCON bullets. And then he is cleaning the utensils also. Won't it change the heart of a 20-year-old boy? Seeing a 70-year-old person toiling like that, for what joy? What was the need? That moved them. And when one attendee who was just coming for some time, he came and said, Prabhupada, can I help you? And then Prabhupada said, what? I was waiting for this. So the help, the need in that person's heart to help Prabhupada came by the forceful instruction of Prabhupada or by the act of Prabhupada. Act. Preach all the time if needed. Speak. Somebody also can say, the more you act well, the more they will learn well. We want people to learn the ways, isn't it? But if we act well, oh, they will automatically. But if we will not act well, they will run well. They'll run away because it's not walking the talk. So this is the first lesson Krishna is giving us. Second, he is saying that please understand that everybody is having his or her own lot of being a puppet. Modes are acting. So don't fret about any person too much. See, sometimes you really cannot change. You should not get cheated, but then if things happen, what to do? You can't change the person. And third, Krishna is telling us, third lesson which Krishna is telling us, that get rid of this mentality that I am the doer. We are acting our free will, but there are many, many things happening. And especially when we come in devotional life, so many people are working on us, isn't it? They say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it may take a universe to raise a devotee. And that may be true. How? Well, some acharyas are praying for us. Some acharyas have written the books, isn't it? This Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spoke. Then you would be surprised that the whole scripture of Mahabharata, which is 100,000 verses, has got a little jumbled up. In the sense that many verses, there is not one consensus that this is the Mahabharata, there is a South Indian version, North Indian version, etc. But within the Mahabharata, there are these 700 verses. Oh, these 700 verses everybody agrees upon. Why? Because the sages throughout the history have kept these 700 verses close to their heart. इसके साथ छेड़खानी नहीं. Actually, this is the climax, the high point of Mahabharata. Whole political drama is going on to bring the person at that cliff. Ab kya hoga? And that's the Gita. So, if the sages didn't work to preserve these 700 verses, well, we would be seeing a jumbled up version today and we would be thinking, Are, kaun padega Bhagavad Gita? So, many people are working. And then, how much are we getting pushed here and there by the modes? But the association of the devotees around are nudging us move forward. So Krishna is telling, and Prabhupada is mentioning in this purport that don't think you are the doer. Everything is running according to Krishna's plan. He has created the universe. He has become the universe through his energy. You are a tiny cog in this entire universe. Play your part humbly, in a modest manner. This is also the quintessential teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is Trinadapi Shunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Following this verse directly attacks on Kartahamiti Manyate. And the more we go deeper in our realization of this verse, what happens? More spiritual strength. Yoga bal. We are able to ward off the onslaughts which we are getting from the world. Correct? And then we can do Kirtaniya Sadahari. It's very tough to do Kirtan Sada all the time, isn't it? It's like a revolving door. Sometimes we think and then the door gets revolved, we find ourselves looking outside to the world. But how can we always look inside and do Kirtan? This verse is telling us, being humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, giving respect to others and not expecting respect in return. Moving away from this ahankar vimuratma kartaham iti manyate. And that's our hope, right? He one day will be very much fixed in devotional consciousness. We wouldn't have to change our workings and the way we act in the world. That's how we began the lecture today. That whatever we are doing, we can raise our consciousness up. And Bhagavad Gita is helping. With that, we end. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. We have maybe 5 minutes. So we can take questions, comments, reflections, suggestions, feedback, anything. Even reflections will do. Something which stuck with you. Some point which you would like to take away with you. Excellent question. It is possible by practice. I'll tell you what examples we have seen in society. The question, the Prabhuji is asking a question, how is it possible to do kirtan all the time? We have to work, we have to be engaged in so many other activities, and then maybe we have to speak also, so it looks quite difficult. By practice. Well, in other traditions, there is a culture of incessant prayer. Even while somebody is talking to you, he or she may be praying for you or the world. It is possible. Actually, it is possible. Sometimes when we even talk with others, the movie is going on in the mind, isn't it? I think mind can do this multiplexing, or what you call multitasking. It is possible. We have seen examples of saints who sometimes sleep with their bead bags. And one of the saints left his body, his posture was like this. In fact, one of the sannyasis who left his body in ISKCON, Param Pujya Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, there was a video who was circulated, and in the dream, in sleeping, he was doing arti. It is possible. The spiritual attachment actually is beyond the limitations of body, mind, and intelligence. Soul, it's always active. Okay, even if we cannot do in intellectual tasks, like some of the intellectual tasks are there in which we have to work hard, but in mechanical tasks we can do. Like suppose mothers are cooking, they can keep chanting. Isn't it? मुंह तो चल ही सकता है, like that. And then slowly and slowly, one can also get into this habit of practice of the mantra going from Vaikhari to the Upanshu, and then in a very deeper manasik level. Let's face it, even while we are talking in manasik level, we are thinking. If that's possible, spiritual sound, which is so powerful, cannot it grip our minds? Of course it can, but it's a matter of practice. How can we begin? Well, first we can begin by doing some set of rounds in one place without distraction. Okay? Then on the top of it, we can add at least those mechanical tasks which we do during the day. Taking care of the kid, cooking, driving. We can chant. And we can further aid that potency by participating in Sankirtan or Kirtan, because that further grips. And guaranteed, within some time, months, years, depends on the intensity, you will feel that, and this is what saints have told, then the situation is not they chanting, but the mantra possessing them. It is possible. You can try, or else your money back. Does it help you? Not really? Any counter question? I am telling that, see, examples have shown in which people have chanted. Otherwise, Mahaprabhu won't tell. To go to the situation, practice is needed. Okay? If you want to go to that particular situation, begin now, practice. What practice you can do? First, japa at a particular spot without doing window shopping. We can do a japa. Right? That's the beginning. On the top of it, at least you can add chanting with your mouth without the beads in those activities where you're not involved intellectually, and those activities are not. At least we can do that. So begin with that. Begin with that situation. Once you can say that mind is getting occupied with the mantra, then mantra will take over. Then you won't be chanting. Mantra will possess you. Correct. Now you are talking about it. That's called ajapa jap. It's an involuntary jap, but that's a very high level. What I was talking without taking the name is ajapa jap. Correct. And we have enough examples about that. Thank you. Now it helps, I guess. Okay. More questions, reflections? Yes. I am trying to. Go ahead. So you're asking, how do you increase your spiritual strength in a world that is focused on validating efficiency? So let's add a little bit more to it, efficiency and material efficiency. I think we have to be very clear about a sacred space. Since the world is very much focused that, first of all, they are interested in their validation and they are interested in forcing on us that we should also value validation, it's very easy we'll get into the cycle that, okay, validate me for my material accomplishment, achievements like that. And we'll just flow away. So hence it is important we carve out our own sacred space. Temple could be sacred space. A particular time of the day in your home could be a sacred space and sacred time. And there you are alone. I mean, you can do with association of like-minded people also, but if that's not possible, you're alone with Krishna and your practice. Primarily japa, reading of the scriptures. Both the japa and the scriptures, they instill in us the first level of spiritual strength, which is called Viveka Buddhi. What? Viveka Buddhi. Buddhi means intelligence. Vivek means discrimination. If you are in the world where validating is going on, then we might say, well, that's the norm. But if you are reading a script, we are reading scriptures and then doing japa, we might come across, these world histories in Bhagavad, Bhagavad Gita, and we start understanding, hey, all this is very ephemeral. What was considered validation 20 years ago is now different. What ideas people believed earlier, now it is different. It will change also. And come on, to whom I am impressing? They may not want to be impressed by me unless they get their own validation. So what happens when we do reading and when we do japa, this Vivek Buddhi starts germinating. We start seeing the tattva. Tattva means a reality. Some sobriety comes. And it's hard to explain. It's almost like a laser eyes you get it. Almost like how these X-ray machines can see beyond the bones and muscles. We start seeing the temporality. We may keep doing whatever we do, but we start getting a deeper understanding. This verse is a signature for that. Prakritehe kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha. We in fact start seeing people from a compassionate view also. That person wants me to consider validation because he or she himself wants validation. Prakritehe kriyamanani. In fact, seeking validation is a nature of passion, the mode of passion. The person in mode of goodness is not really about validation. It's about the beauty of the work. So, our sacred space, and what do we do in that sacred space? Mantra meditation, that's very powerful. Reading of the scriptures, and sometimes reading of the scriptures thing may not sink. So having a like-minded person to discuss with. Does that help you? So Vivek Buddhi will develop further into spiritual strength. Yeah. So yeah, I can take questions offline. Anybody who also has it. Thank you very much for your attention. Hare Krishna.